Hello, welcome to just a little short video I wanted to make about the MyGO recap movies. I'm sure there's a lot of you on this channel that have been subscribed since my other MyGO reactions obviously, and haven't really been tapping into anything else that I've been making apart from the MyGO and other MyGO stuff, so I felt like I wanted to talk about these movies after watching them, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that probably don't even realise they're out to watch online. And if you are interested in where to watch them, I did torrent them. You can DM me on Twitter if you want the link to that. I don't want to kind of put that link out in the open for people to see. Yeah, the Blu-rays came out recently, just I think 2 weeks ago or the other week. Obviously, these movies came out over a year ago now, so it has been quite some time since they initially released. Obviously, we have MyGO Spring Sunshine Stray Cat, which is the first recap movie, and then MyGO Sing a Song for Us and Film Live, which is the second recap movie covering Bang Dreamers MyGO. These movies, I decided to randomly watch them the other night. I watched them both in the same night, successively. It's remarkable how easy it is to watch two movies in the same night when it's MyGO that you're watching, but regardless, these movies in total runtime is about 4 hours. About 20 minutes of that, about a full episode's worth, is Rana flashback content, which is awesome. 15 minutes is the film live, and in total, just excluding the credits and excluding what I just mentioned, it's about 9 episodes in length of runtime, which is pretty reasonable given almost all the Avimujica member scenes are cut, unless they include a MyGO member in them, like obviously Sakiko at the concert in episode 7, or Soyo and Sakiko's encounter, stuff like that. So the pacing is really great overall, and it really did remind me just how tightly MyGO is written as a narrative and as a story, and how concise it feels. It's really quite impressive, and I know there's a lot of criticism about Avimujica, considering how it's written as a story and how messy it can feel. I kind of like that feeling of messiness Avimujica has, but it contrasts nicely, I think, with MyGO's narrative approach, and whether that's intentional or not, the messiness is obviously reflective of the bands as well. So regarding Rana's flashback segment, it's a really compelling piece. It's the first 20 minutes of the first film as well, so it's the first thing you're getting going into these films, and it did give me a little bit of a feeling of Tomori's backstory. Of a child who is unable to really find her place, but in this sort of instance, Rana isn't particularly interested in even trying to fit in or anything like that, compared to Tomori, who does anguish a bit over not being able to fit in and ends up sort of coming to the conclusion that she's not human in this sense. Rana's not like that at all, where she's just not interested at all. It's sort of a bit of a Bocce the Rock situation, with Ryo being a loner and Bocce being lonely. I suppose that's an interesting way to compare it. And in the I'm not going to talk too much about the flashback segment, because it's the new content, it's the beef of what is interesting about the recap movies, but it's just really nice to see how supportive her family are, and we get lots of scenes with obviously Ona in particular, and Rana's mum, and we get a little bit of a father as well. I'll probably include some pictures on the screen every now and again. And we also get to see a little bit more of Ruriko as well, who plays a nice role in like supporting Rana. Like, she really is just sort of the MVP of MyGO in general, and these girls in general, just kind of looking over them from behind the scenes. And we also do see some older Pandori characters, and Glitter Green in particular, who have a strong influence on Rana, picking up the guitar and learning the guitar as well. Very cool seeing all this before obviously Space's closure. And what's really great about this flashback is, well, it portrays Rana's character and how she was this way from a very early age with her family, obviously trying their best to support and Rana and trying to get her to make friends and focus at school and do her homework and all that kind of stuff. But it also drives home just how important of a space was to her. For the first time in the show, we actually see Rana get quite emotional and sentimental when she reminisces about space and the people that she met there and the experiences she had there. It's a really powerful scene, and honestly one of my favourite in the show overall, which is quite the comment. It brought myself to tears, and it brought Ruriko to tears as well in the show. It's a really fantastic scene to really sort of top off the flashback segment. So the first movie does start with that flashback and then covers episodes 1 to episode 7, excluding episode 3, which is Tomori's flashback. And there are some new scenes from present time MyGO. Like, for example, we get to see when in episode 2 when Soyo plays Haruhikage for Anon, we actually get to see Anon's reaction to that a little bit, and we also get to see Soyo's expression while that's being played as well, which is quite cool. We also get to see more like little tidbits of Rana in her house, like when she's there's a particular part when she's practicing Haruhikage on her own, and sort of sets up her playing it in episode 7 quite nicely, given that she ends up getting a compliment from the owner for that song while she's practicing it at home. And yeah, so the first movie then, of course, closes out with the credits and the beautiful Adayume, one of MyGO's best songs for sure. It really drives home like a really strong emotional first half of the story. And then the second movie also does begin quite strongly with some extended scenes from episode 10, which is really nice to see that we sort of extend that part of the episodes. Some of the scenes we do see is stuff to do with Tomori's poem reading. We get to see essentially just more of her solo readings before other members begin to join. We also get to see more readings when it's just her, Taki and Rana for that period of time. But the second movie starts really strongly. We get to see the first instance of Tomori doing her solo readings, which then cuts to black. We get the title card, and then it goes into Tomori's backstory. It's a really cool little rearrangement that worked really well for me, sort of highlighting who the star of this movie in the second half is going to be. So this movie recaps episodes 8 to 12, as well as obviously episode 3, as I mentioned, and then the MyGO part of episode 13, which I think is like the first 7 or 8 minutes or so not too much. And like I said, most of the added scenes for this part of the movie do take place in episode 10, which is awesome to see. Like, so we get to see like how Tomori ends up sort of attracting a bigger crowd, the reactions from the crowds. We get to see just sort of how her poems impact the audience, and just the sort of murmurs and sort of buzz around the time when Tomori is starting to do these solo readings. We also get a nice little look into the ring staff room for the first time, as we get some insight from Ruriko. Ruriko does sort of continue to play a little bit of a big part in MyGO, very subtly, which is very nice. And the thing is, with recap movies, a lot of the time they can end up using different music and score to the original, which can feel a little bit jarring. Sometimes the music direction just isn't very good, I think. For example, in the recent Jujutsu Kaisen recap movie that was in theatres lately, the music direction was just quite poor. It really didn't work for me at all. But with MyGO, the musical choices are pretty consistent with what we're familiar with in the series, and any new choices are pretty well done, and it never really felt jarring for me hearing different songs in parts of the show that are so ingrained with that music for me. I rewatched MyGO 10 times at this point, so it was noticeable when I could hear different music, but it never really felt like it was out of place. There was one particular change that I really liked, though, that they did, was during obviously the iconic confrontation between Soyo and Sakiko, which Starts with a different OST, and then when Soyo like really starts to get pathetic and begins like begging Sakiko to come back and gets on her knees and all that stuff, there's just silence. There's no track to backing in this scene at all, which, man, it really left an impact here, because it really, like, you really just felt how hopeless and desperate Soyo felt here, and the sense of superiority you sort of felt from Sakiko with the silence being so loud in the background. And yeah, they're both very good movies. The credits then roll with the song Speed, and then we're treated to a very lovely 15 minutes of film live, which has some really, really gorgeous visuals. I'll just show a couple on screen now. It is akin to MyGo's performance in Ave Musica episode 13, those kind of really strong visuals. And it's not to say the MyGo performances in the MyGo anime weren't visually good. It's just there's a clear upgrade between then and now, where they've really sort of honed their CGI and their lighting usage especially. So we get to see MyGo perform 3 songs that we haven't heard them perform before in the anime, and I won't spoil which 3 songs they are because it's a real treat to hear them. But overall, these recap movies were really, really well done, and it felt like a lot of thought were put into them, even if they obviously were used as a cash grab to some extent. I really do feel like there was a lot of intent behind the scenes and the rearrangements and the different scoring and all that kind of stuff. And especially because all of a sudden now Rana has the most backstory content in the show, alongside the 2 band's lead singers, Tomori and Uika, which is pretty funny but well deserved, and the sort of character stuff we needed for Rana beyond what we already have her in the anime and the game. One can only pray that we get Taki focus on this level, but alas, while I know the movie is announced, there is a movie announced for Ave Musica that is supposed to be new content, I do wonder if we'll ever get a Ave Musica recap movie like these 2, which may end up giving us some more Umari focus and backstory, which naturally could include Taki. Maybe I'm just coping here, but it is funny because I mentioned in my Taki analysis video how once the Rana movie comes out, Taki will certainly be the least sort of focus on of all the members, and my god, was that true. With just how much we got here with Rana, which I wasn't expecting. I know the first movie was sort of marketed in that way, where it was Rana's focus movie, but getting a whole episode's worth of flashbacks and stuff for a character was it was wow. It was so much more than I expected, and it really made that first movie in particular worth watching. And I think they're really good recap movies. They serve very well as recap movies that give additional content where needed. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to hop on here and ramble about them a bit, given I imagine there's probably not many people really talking about them in the YouTube sphere at all, but I think they're worth watching if you want to revisit the show and get some new stuff, and for the first 20 minutes of the first movie, especially for the Rana stuff, and there's also tidbits of new content scattered around there, and obviously then the film live at the end. It's always a pleasure seeing MyGo perform, especially having MyGo act as a normal band is just really fun and really nice. Like what we get to see in the episode 12 performance and episode 11. It's just more of that, and that is always welcome when it comes to MyGo, where they've been so plagued with drama and stress, where it's just nice to sort of see them perform as a band that have established themselves in the scene somewhat. So yeah, that's I don't even know if it's a review. It's definitely not analysis. It's just sort of a little ramble about the 2 recap movies. So yeah, I'll see you guys for whatever you watch next. I'm just going to continue uploading Chihei Yafuru, and then we'll be on to the new year. Maybe I'll have some stuff planned for then. Obviously, going to keep adding to new seasonal shows, and eventually we'll get to Bang Dream with what's that? Umemita, or eventually, obviously, react to that one that eventually comes out, and then obviously anything new from Ave Musica, anything new from MyGo, we will be there as well. Music and anime and movies. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.